Please welcome our Toastmaster for today, Tim, to the virtual lecture.
Thank you, Mr. Club today. So first off, I guess we can start with our grammarian introducing our grammarian for today. And I believe our grammarian is Hannah. Is that right?
Hannah? Yeah, so usually you would stand up and give a short description of your role and what you would do for the meeting. Do you know? Okay. I guess I'll give an example. So as the grammarian for the meeting, you will be monitoring, first of all, the use of the daily word, the word of the day, which Isaac has chosen for us. You would also read the word of the day and tell us what the meaning and a usage. You would also be monitoring, of course, our grammar usage during our speeches, evaluations, and table topics for either filler words like ah, like, and basically anything that is not part of the intended part of the speech, and also incorrect grammar when heard. Read that. Yes.
Of the day. Camaraderie. Mutual trust and friendship among people who spend a lot of time together. Usage, a genuine camaraderie on the hockey team.
Thank you for introducing your role. Next up, we have the timer. I didn't see anybody on the agenda, but on the sign-up sheet, it said it was Xavier. Is that correct? Okay. I'll give it up for you for the timer role.
As the timer, I'll be timing each time section of the meeting from the speeches. I believe we have one speech from Mr. Pendergrass at 5 to 7 minutes. So at the 5-minute mark, my background will turn green. At the 6-minute mark, my background will turn yellow. And at the 7-minute mark, my background will turn red, in which you have 30 seconds to finish up your speech. Our next speaker will be 4 to 6 minutes, and it's Kennedy. So from 4 minutes, at 4 minutes, my background will turn green. At 5, it will turn yellow. And at 6 minutes, it will turn red, in which you have 30 minutes to finish your icebreaker. The next time portion that I do is the table topics, in which every response should be from 1 to 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, my background will turn green. At 1.5, yellow. And at 2 minutes, red. And at the end of the meeting, I will give my report and say everybody's time. And back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you for explaining your role. So after those role explanations, we can go into our speeches for today. And I believe the first speech was, oh, can I have the evaluator one for Mr. Jason Pendergrass's speech come up and introduce his speech?
Hello, everyone. I will be the evaluator for Mr. Pendergrass's speech today. His speech is titled My Maintenance Department, and his project is project number 8, Getting Comfortable with Visual Aids. He'll be using a PowerPoint today to aid in understanding his speech for the rest of us. Please welcome Mr. Pendergrass to the podium.
Thank you, Toastmasters. Today, I'm going to take you into my maintenance department, how I run my plant, my department, my responsibilities. My maintenance department is responsible for making sure the equipment is ready to run so the production team can produce the product, sell to customers, and produce revenue. And if each department works well together, we're efficient, we're aimed in the right direction, we're properly strategizing and executing, we will earn a profit. With the synergy of camaraderie, we can earn an exceptional profit. Before I explain more about what we do, who we are, and why we're important, I'm going to give you a concept of the environment in which I operate. As the maintenance manager, I have a team of maintenance mechanics, maintenance techs that work for me. My department is a cost center. It does not produce revenue. The operations team, which is my internal customer, is a profit generator, which means they, like I said earlier, make the product, sell the product, produce income. Mine is an expense. My department is a necessary evil, which means if they did not need us, we would not be there. But without us, the equipment will not run and we cannot produce. Next one. So what do? We program robots. That's the upper left corner. We also have PLCs. We program and troubleshoot. That's the brains of a machine. It makes the decisions. It's just like a computer on your desk, only it's industrial hardened and made for those more intense situations like hotter temperatures, moisture, and stuff like that. We also have outputs like motors, three-phase induction motors we troubleshoot and install. We have lubrication PMs. We have bearings we change out. Of course, we have sensors like input switches, like proxies and stuff of that nature. On the bottom, you see some of my favorite machines. My machine I like the most is my favorite machine. It's very technical, lots of engineering aspects to it, and very exciting to work on, very complicated, and where I learned probably 90% of my technical skills. Beside that, we have a boiler producing steam. Then we have some packaging equipment, carton former. Then we have a 500-ton press used in automotive, and then in my world, we use it in the lawnmower industry. As a matter of fact, I have 2 pneumatic cylinders I'd like to pass around. These have failed and were replaced. I'm going to pass them around and see if you can figure out what's wrong with them. The way they work, air goes in, let me find the port. If air goes in this port, it extends it out. If air goes into this port, it's compressed air from an air compressor, it brings it back. It may be rejecting something or opening a gate or something of that nature. I'm going to pass them around, see if you can figure out what's wrong with them. Just pass them to your friends. We'll go to the next page. So how am I graded? As the maintenance manager, what am I responsible for? And this is just a small snapshot, but I'm graded against machine uptime and efficiency. Are we producing or are we down for maintenance reasons? I'm also evaluated against changeovers. So changeovers when we go from one SKU to another. For example, this line may produce a 25 count box of some kind of package. And then the same equipment is used, but with different tooling, we may produce a 50 count. So we have to do a changeover. Operations gives us a window of opportunity. Within this 2-hour period, we must get the machine changed over and up and running production. Every minute counts. These machines make thousands of dollars an hour in revenue. And so every minute is crucial that we get it running production. And then also I'm evaluated against budgets. Obviously, it's about the money. I have 3 budgets I manage. Going back to equipment uptime and efficiency, you'll see a snapshot of a line event data system. This gives me real-time data of how the machines are producing, and I can drill through that data and get details. If we're green, we're good, and if it's red, like you see 2 on the red on the left, if it's red, I've got an answer for that, and I have to have answers in meetings, and I got to be able to explain how we're going to correct it and prevent it going forward. Next one. Uptime, efficiency, and equipment. Several factors playing a role in that. One is how urgently are my maintenance techs responding to emergency calls? When the machine is down, for us, that's an emergency. Our job within the constraints of safety and ethics is all costs is to get that machine up and running production, whatever it takes. That means it's not time to go on break. It's not time to lollygag around. When that machine goes down, we answer the call quickly. We get there with our tools. We ask the right questions, and we efficiently and methodically get that machine up and running. But to enable my maintenance techs to be successful, they need to be properly trained. They all come in with some great skills, but there's nuances to our equipment that if they know how to do the procedure or they have the experience, it's quick, and if not, it's long. So we have to properly and systematically train them on how to build sub-assemblies, for example. And then also to accompany their skill sets and their training is standard work. To see an example of standard work, there to the right of the response time. Standard work is a document that gives you directions on exactly how to complete a task. It's got pictures, it's written precisely, it's got a tool list, everything you need, and it's written in such detail that if you've never worked on that equipment in your life, you should be able to walk in with the tools in hand, follow that procedure, and fix the machine. And that helps us with turnover issues, which is common now in industry. I also track lots of data internal. I pass out work orders to my team every week. I expect them to come back completed. If they're not back, what's the issue? We have to work through that. I track work order completion percentage, parts usage. We have a machine go down. How often is this gearbox being changed out? What is our mins and our max? If we need this gearbox and it's now on the parts cage, not on my shelf, and we're having to hot shot it in from some warehouse across the United States, that's expensive. It may take a day or two to get there. If we're making $10,000 in revenue an hour, it's hard for me to explain to my manager how we're not going to run production until tomorrow at 2 p.m. That's expensive. I also track downtime percentage and understand why it's failing, and then mean time between failures. If I replace this gearbox today, on average, how long until it fails again? Every component has a lifespan. No matter how properly maintained it is, no matter what environment, eventually it fails. It may be 5 years from now, it may be 10 years from now, but if it's failing every month, there's a problem, and that leads us to going through root cause investigations. Get to the root cause and fix this problem. Maybe the wrong gearbox for the application, maybe it's not properly maintained, maybe it's incorrectly installed. But we need to make sure that the equipment survive, the components survive until the end of life. And then there's mean time to repair. How long does it take this mechanic to fix this device? If it takes you an hour and takes me 3 hours, you're a lot better than me. It's a way to measure. Now, there may be reasons why. Maybe you cannot access the machine because of some other reason. But mean time to repair tells you how long it takes to do the job and allows you to quantifiably compare against other maintenance techs. It also helps with planned maintenance as well. And then 5S of a maintenance shop and really of a plant. 5S is a way to organize your plant. Stands for sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain, the hardest being sustain. But basically everything has its own place. And you use 5S at home in many cases, you just don't know it. I bet if I go to your kitchen, all of your forks are in one spot. All of your plates are in one spot. If I go to your closet, your shirts are in one spot, your pants are in one spot, your shoes are in one spot. Now, where we don't, I'm not very good at using 5S is in my garage. It should have a home that's scattered everywhere, you know. So we all use parts of 5S, and on the right-hand side, you see a before and after picture, and it has a huge impact on the plant. One, it looks nicer for new employees and customers, but also it's safer. You don't have things to trip on. You don't stack things on top of other things and occur damage. And then when you need the component or the part, you know exactly where it is because it has a home. You're not looking for it. 15 minutes of lost time looking for that tool is 15 minutes less production we're going to have. So 5S is critical for a plant. It also sets the tone for the culture. Okay. Changeovers, the other aspect. How long does it take to go take the machine down, change it over, and then run production? Every minute counts. So what do? We got to be in front of the changeovers. If I know I'm having a changeover today around 2 o'clock, I let my maintenance techs know to be ready at 2 o'clock. That way, they've already had their break, they've already taken lunch, they've already done what they got to do. At 2 o'clock, it's go time. And then communication is key. As soon as that line goes down, operations need to communicate to me and my team it's time to go do the changeover. And as soon as the changeover is complete and my team has ran sample products, it's time to communicate to the operations team to get their team back running production. Every minute counts. And then proper training from a maintenance tech. Again, it goes back to the skill sets. If I just send them out there to do the changeover, it's going to take forever. The quality won't be good. They have a risk of getting injured, and you're setting them up for frustration and failure. If they're properly trained, they have a chance to be successful, and they should be successful. And then we also help them with their training with centerline sheets and standard work. Standard work we talked about earlier is exactly how to perform the changeover. And centerline sheets are machine settings that are validated that show when the machine was running well last time. It'll get you in the ballpark. You may still have to tweak it if you're going to be close. So all that helps with successful changeovers. And then budget. It's all about the money. I manage 3 budgets. It's really 4, but 2 budgets are kind of in one. My MRO budget is my spare parts. That gearbox fails and we go to my parts cage and get a gearbox and put it on the machine. That gearbox is $500. It costs my budget $500. Labor budget, each one of my maintenance techs makes good money. They all are budgeted to a certain amount of hours per week. I have to get all the tasks I need to get done, all the repairs, all the PMs, all the changeovers, all the inspections. Everything must be done in that block of time. If not, I'm paying time and a half for my hourly employees, my budget's in the red, and again, I have to answer for it. Now, I might have good reasons, but I better have reasons. And then there's supplies and services, and that's really 2 budgets in one. Supplies is consumables used in the production process that I am responsible for. For example, chemicals in a boiler. We consume them every day that we're making steam. I have to buy those. And then services is outside contractors. If I bring an electrical company in to install some equipment, that hits my service department. But each month is budgeted and each year is budgeted for a certain amount of money. And I have to stay within that budget to the best of my abilities or have a very good reason why I went outside the budget. So budget again is crucial. That impacts the bottom line. My maintenance department is crucial to the success of the plant. Without my team performing, the operations team will fail. If the operations team fails, we do not make product, we do not meet customer orders, we do not make sales, we do not generate revenue, and we definitely don't earn a profit. The end results, we go out of business. That's every company. So my maintenance department is the backbone of the plant. We have a direct impact on the company's success, and we impact safety in so many ways. One, we make sure guarding is in place, but we also do inspections on life equipment, such as fire pumps, eye wash stations, and such. Without us, people would be getting hurt, equipment would be down. My department, I personally ensure we set these standards for excellence. I make it clear in interviews that if we have to carry the plant, we will, and at times we have. I've built multiple maintenance departments, and all 3 actually, I would say, were high performers. We had a camaraderie about us, a teamwork about us. We worked together. We helped each other. We support each other with good attitudes. We got the job done. But one ironic thing about maintenance, if you don't plan your maintenance and you don't execute your maintenance, a breakdown will schedule you. That applies on industrial equipment or your house. If you don't repair your house, if you don't maintain your house, it falls in. If you don't maintain your car, motor burns up. If you don't brush your teeth fall out. We all require maintenance. Industrial equipment is no different. Same result. Great maintenance leads to a great plant. Thank you, Toastmaster.
What? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Pendergrass, for your speech. Right after that, we'll hop into the second speech. And I'll call upon the evaluator number 2 for Mr. Kennedy's speech. I believe that would be Eric, if he's here.
Oh,
Or did we change that?
whoops. I'm sorry. Yeah, let us switch. Eric, are you okay with the 5 and Kennedy's icebreaker?
I thought you were my evaluator.
Yeah.
So I sent my outline to you.
That is correct according to the schedule.
According to the schedule. That is indeed correct.
maybe that's for your speech.
Thank you, Toastmaster Eric.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Today, I'll be presenting my icebreaker speech, where I'll just introduce myself, talk a little bit about my hobbies and activities that I like. First, I was born in Nashville, Tennessee. Shortly after I was born, I moved to Murfreesboro, but I spent my life here in Memphis. I spent most of my life here in Memphis. In Memphis, there are a lot of cool opportunities and activities that I can attend. For instance, 3 years ago, my mom signed me up for a cross-country club where we participated in a race. We took 2 weeks to train, and then I came, of course, totally prepared in skinny jeans and raced half a mile around the track. Unfortunately, I didn't know what pacing was in racing, so I absolutely bursted off that starting line and lost all my energy in an instant. I finished the race with a record-breaking time of 6 minutes and 22 seconds, finishing about 2 minutes from the person in front of me. Needless to say, it was a very humiliating moment for me, and I went home and I vowed to never touch another racetrack in my life, and my older brother knows, because I have since absolutely refused to race him any single time he asks me. So I obviously needed to find a new hobby or activity to do, but thankfully I'd recently become homeschooled, so I had a lot of free time. I decided to then pick up art. A few years prior to that, my mom noticed that I was enjoying art in my public school. So she bought me some supplies and they collected dust in my closet because I didn't have time to participate in any of the activities. Thankfully, again, when I became homeschooled, I had a lot of free time. And when I was cleaning out my closet, I saw the art supplies and I thought they might as well not go to waste. I started picking up the pencil and putting and drawing on the paper, and the rest is history. I've been drawing for about 5 years now, which is a very nice experience for me. A hobby that I picked up very recently is math. I've always been pretty good at math, if I would say so, but because I thought I was good at math, I never took the time to practice it. And in 6th grade, I was performing at a 4th to 5th grade level, not knowing how to multiply. So my mom took it into her own hands and handed me a giant 5th to 6th grade math book and told me to go ahead and complete it all. After that, I developed a very big interest in math. And by that December, I was doing college courses. Now I'm in a college algebra class. And honestly, math is my favorite subject. I know it's a lot of people's least favorite, but it is my favorite and I absolutely love it. One thing that my mom thought was a little bit strange is that creativity in art uses one side of the brain, where technical things like math uses another side of the brain. So it's kind of rare to find somebody who loves and is good at both. But I find a creative aspect in both math and art. I enjoy putting out my ideas on a piece of paper with my art skills. And I enjoy feeling like if I was back then when people created the basic fundamentals of math, maybe I could have done it too. I think there's a creative aspect to everything, including math. So math, if you understand the subject, you can go on and you can do anything with that knowledge. So reflecting on my journey from where I was born to the new hobbies I've embraced, I realized that each of these activities shaped me and helped me grow. Whether it's the thrill of racing or the lessons I learned for the moments of humiliation, or the creativity I get to experience with art and with math, each of them has shaped me in unique ways and truly given me a glimpse to who I truly am. I look forward to continuing this hopefully long journey of life and finding new experiences that bring me joy. Thank you.
Thank you for your speech. Next up, I believe, is our table topic session. and that is led by Deanna.
$5 million, but it would shorten your lifespan by 1 year. I think.
So the question is, would I take $5 million if it shortened my lifespan by 1 year? And my honest answer is no. Reason being, time is one of the most valuable things you can ever have. You don't want to waste time. You don't want to dilly-dally or spend your time doing stuff that's meaningless. And let's say if I'm in my final years, yeah, I mean, I have money, I have all these cars and nice houses, but how's that gonna look when I'm spending my time by myself, alone in a mansion? Whereas I could be making memories with my family, going to parks, traveling the world with my kids. And I feel like it's just not worth the money. Because those experiences will go a lot farther than money will. So that's my answer.
Would you rather have a pet dog or cat? Yeah.
The question is, would I rather have a pet dog or a cat? Now, for those of you who know me, this should be pretty obvious. I already own 2 cats, and I'm definitely a cat person. The reason being, one, cats, you don't need to bathe them. They lick themselves clean, and even though I haven't bathed my cats in about 6 months, they still smell nice. Whenever I go to my friend's house and they have dogs, I like dogs, but they do smell a little sketchy. Like, it's always something about them. And I can't name what smell it is, but it's something. Second reason is you don't need to walk them. Cats are pretty low maintenance pets. You don't have to take them outside or exercise them because they do plenty of that in the house by themselves. Dogs, on the other hand, you have to walk at least once a day or they get super hyper, as my friends have told me. Third, they're really easy to take care of. Like I said before, they're pretty low maintenance pets, and all you have to do really is feed them, water them, and clean the litter box, which is really convenient, especially if you live in a small space, which doesn't have access to a yard. Because my friends that have dogs just let their dogs poop in the yard, and I think that's really unnecessary and inconvenient. And fourth, cats aren't as socially demanding as dogs, and you don't have to spend that much time with them. So if you're busy, you don't have to be with them 24 hours in a day, but you still develop the same sense of camaraderie with them and bonding. So that's why I would like to have a cat instead of a dog. Thank you.
Since Master's benefited you in other ways.
Toastmasters benefited me in other ways. Definitely. One of the most obvious is the camaraderie we have within the classroom. But also in my professional world, I have to give presentations at work in front of the entire plant. And actually, I'm known to be a pretty good speaker amongst my peers. It's also helped me in job interviews because if you can talk about yourself, your icebreaker, you can tailor that towards the job situation, and you can really give some good answers to some good interview questions and set yourself apart from the competition. So it's helped me land some pretty decent jobs. And also my communication skills has helped me to have a fun common interest with my daughter, and we both take this journey together. So that's really the most important one to me, watching her develop. And if I was not involved with Toastmasters, this would not be happening. So that's the biggest reward I have. The Toastmasters has helped me just like it will help all of you in your career in so many ways. So I would say Toastmasters should be recommended for anyone who plans to have a good job one day, or anyone who plans to communicate or give presentations or whatever your career path is. Communication will be key. Toastmasters will help, and it's benefited me just like it will benefit you. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Tell me about your weekend. Xavier.
All right. Yes, tell you about my weekend. So my weekend started Friday. Say Friday after school. I came home. And since 2K25 I just came out, NBA 2K25, I hopped on and decided I wanted to play some games for once. So after that, a little bit of gaming, just chilling around, I we went out to eat. I wasn't sure where it was. It was a new ramen place that just opened up here in Germantown, and I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. The decoration, Q Ramen, that's the name, Q Ramen. Yeah, the nice decoration. Everything was excellent there. I enjoyed it very much. And then Saturday, I was gonna go to the gym, but we had a fair down here in Memphis, and the gym or the basketball court part of the gym was closed that day, so it kind of messed up my plans. But we also went to the movie theaters yesterday and watched Deadpool and Wolverine. That was pretty interesting. And then today, I haven't really done much yet. My mom went to the store, got some groceries, and I came here to enjoy the time with her. That's my weekend so far. Thank you for the question.
If you could learn any language, what would it be? Amora.
For any language, I think it would be Spanish because it's a language that's like secondly most commonly known, and it could be helped with a lot of different things because a lot of people speak Spanish and a lot of people don't speak English. So you could like translate, you could translate it for other people to English to Spanish or Spanish to English.
What is your favorite holiday? Alina.
Halloween because candy, not. And you get to dress up as your favorite character or person. And you get to give candy to other people. Yeah, that's about it.
Tell me about high school. Michael.
Although there are a few of us here who are in high school, I would probably be the one with most experience as I'm a senior this year. Fortunately, ninth grade is pretty calm. It's pretty similar to eighth grade, except you're probably in a bigger school, meeting some new people. That's about it. 10th grade is much the same, with a few different teachers and a few new classes. Now, junior year, 11th grade is when it gets really hard. If you're aiming for a top tier college, you will need to start loading yourself with such a heavy burden that your head will hang low every day. For me, junior year was most comparable to trench warfare. With 5 APs and advanced math course past calculus, I was suffering daily. Fortunately, I survived through sheer will and determination. However, a great part of that also came from my camaraderie with my friends. Having a group of advanced students to struggle with together, to share our struggles, to help each other in times of need, really helped me get through the year. Now, I'm in my senior year. Although senior year is slightly easier than junior year, with the course load being not as difficult, the essays are arguably the most dangerous and cruel part of senior year. For hours on end, you have to scratch your head, combing your life for an interesting story that the admissions officer might give a second glance to, just so you have that 1% extra chance to get into that Ivy League. However, you can of course go for safer schools that fit your needs. Everyone's goals are different. So senior year can really be a chill or demanding year depending on your applications. One thing I know for sure though, is that the second semester of senior year will be party time. I'm kidding, I don't party, but I will be having a lot of fun, relaxing and enjoying myself instead of struggling so much at school before I start college. Thank you.
Tell me about middle school.
So in middle school, I'm in 7th grade right now. So, but some schools are different because private schools have different curriculums. In my school, White Station, in 6th grade, it's pretty easy. And then if you're super duper smart, you can either skip like from your 6th grade math to pre-algebra or even algebra. And so after 6th grade, which is basically like 5th grade, you go into 7th, obviously. And 7th grade is somewhat harder, but it's not too hard. In 7th grade, which is the grade I'm in, I got into algebra, and the teacher there is actually cooking me. Like literally. So it depends on like if your teachers are nice or not. My teachers are mostly kind of tough, but it's manageable. And then when you get into 8th grade, because I'm not in 8th grade, so I wouldn't know too much about it. I've just heard that some of the teachers are good and some of the teachers are really bad. And then you can also do geometry in 8th grade or 7th grade if you're super duper smart. And that's pretty much it.
Would you rather drink Fanta or Sprite? Tim?
Thank you for that question. So, would I rather drink Fanta or Sprite? I'd probably go with Sprite, as it is quite the original and something I used to drink a lot. And when I worked at a restaurant, Urban Fusion, down near Germantown, uh, that's kind of the drink I went to the most when I was thirsty and got free drinks there. They had Fanta, of course, but I feel like I feel like it's a bit too strong, a bit too orangey and a bit too tangy sometimes. After just working hard, I'd rather just have like a Sprite, something cool you off. With some ice in it, it's even better. But Fanta or Sprite, ultimately I'd go with Sprite, as although I do like oranges, the soda flavor just I feel like feels a little off. Doesn't taste exactly right, but it's just a little bit too maybe sweet sometimes or too maybe carbonated the other. But I just go with Sprite because it's been part of my life a lot and I've drank it a bunch. So thank you for the question.
$1 million, what would you do with it? Okay.
If I had $1 million, I well, if I had $1 million, I would probably invest it. You know, now there's capitalism is running abroad, and the best thing in life right now, I think, would be to invest all my money so I can generate even more money, so that I could use that money to buy stuff I want. Because now as inflation is happening and the value of money is getting less and less, I think $1 million might not be enough for me and if I ever have kids in the future. So I think I want to be able to use that money to get even more money.
Is that it for the table topics? Okay, next up after table topics, we'll have our evaluations. And I'll introduce the general evaluator for today. Oh, is Jonathan Chen here? No, is anybody willing to step up for general evaluator?
What does the general evaluator do?
Speech walks through the evaluation section. Basically, the evaluator introduces the evaluator, 1 and 2, the timer, the grammarian, and also summarizes the meeting, basically. And then the meeting adjourned with the toastmaster and the president.
Want me to do it? As the general evaluator, I'd like to first introduce our first evaluator for the first speech, Michael.
Hello, everyone. I will be evaluating Mr. Pendergrass's speech on management. In his speech, he used a PowerPoint to aid us in understanding his message. Their PowerPoints were very clear and they were appropriate for his speech. They did help us understand more because they visualized some of the machines he was talking about, and he also displayed some graphics that helped us understand his concepts. The visual aid was well designed and clearly visible for all the slides. Mr. Pendergrass also used the visual aid smoothly and with confidence because he transitioned through the slides and talked and expanded upon every point he wrote on the PowerPoint. The purpose could have been slightly clearer because although it was a great informative speech, perhaps we could have learned some more to apply to our own lives. He did, however, mention that we apply, for example, the 5S principle to many areas of our life and how we also use risk management in our own lives. He did use clear body language, gesturing to the PowerPoint when appropriate in order to emphasize his point. His word choice was also effective, and the speech was definitely well researched because Mr. Pendergrass is an expert in his own field. I think, like I mentioned, the way he could have made his speech a little more effective is it would have been a little more relatable to the audience because we are all amateurs, and I don't think we are able to instantly be able to understand the intricacies of his profession. However, the speech was certainly a great insight into the management field for production companies that usually we don't get to see as outsiders. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Our next evaluator is Ed.
So I'm gonna be evaluating Kennedy's speech on her hobbies and her personal self. So the things that she did good, she had really good eye contact, taking moments to look at everyone. And then she had very good hand movement and just like body gestures. And her body language was pretty confident in my opinion. And then she also added humor to her speeches, which made a few of us laugh, including myself. And then she was also very fluent, connecting to other people and audiences. And then some things that I think she could have improved on were like reciting her speeches a few times before she like how do I say it? Before she actually like reads it to an audience. And then I think overall she had a really good first icebreaker.
Good. Next up is the grammarian, emphasizing or giving us a count on filler words, the words of the day. Grammarian is Hannah.
So for the prepared speeches, Mr. Jason had 2 filler words or grammar mistakes and 2 uses of the word of the day. The second speech had 7 filler words and no uses of the word of the day. For the table topics, Isaac had no filler words and 1 word of the day. I had 2 filler words and 1 use of the word of the day. Mr. Jason had no filler words or uses of the word of the day. Xavier, I don't think you had any of them, but I couldn't really hear it. Maybe it was the distortion from the Zoom. Mara had 1 filler word, no uses of the word of the day. Alina had no filler words. Michael had no filler words and 1 use of the word of the day. Eric had 1 filler word. Tim had 2 filler words. Kate had 1 filler word. Michael had no filler words. And Eric had 3 filler words. So thank you. Good job.
Thank you, Hannah. And lastly, just the general evaluation of the entire meeting. I think overall it was pretty good. Great content by all the speakers. Lots of an improved use of the word of the day. So that's awesome. That's something we're trying to emphasize this semester. So great job there. And really no outstanding filler word usage. So great job overall. From an execution standpoint, I know we're still working out the bugs on the flow of the meeting. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm glad you said something. I'll get to that next. So just short on the flow of the meeting, roles and all that. We'll get that worked out as we move forward. And I forgot about the timer. I apologize. I'd like to introduce our timer. Who's our timer? Xavier. Okay, Xavier.
All right, thank you, Mr. Pendergrass. First up was your speech. You were about 6 minutes over. That's all right. It was a more of an informative speech. Next, if you would give it another speech like that one, I suggest maybe increasing the time limit to 13, 15 minutes. But you did, it was an excellent speech. So 13:35, Kennedy was 4 minutes 23. And for the table topics, we had Isaac at 45. Second speaker, I didn't quite catch the name of. It was 2 minutes and 7 seconds. Mr. Pendergrass, you had 1 minute 18 seconds. I had 1 minute 5 seconds. Mora had 23 seconds. Alina, 18 seconds. Michael, 1 minute 53 seconds. Eric, 1 minute 12 seconds. Tim, 1 minute 9 seconds. Kate, 36 seconds. And for the evaluations, Michael, you're just right at 1 minute 45 seconds, and Eric at 57 seconds. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Xavier. And with that, I'll turn it back over to the Toastmaster, Tim.
Thank you for all the evaluations for today. And I believe that's all of it. So I'll return everything back to the club president.
Thank you everyone for coming. Today was a great meeting, and now we would like to assign the rules for next week.